all body parts inside the blue railing as we get ready to approach the boat ramp. Yeah, are you ready, Captain? All right, are you all excited? Ready to take a cruise of the bay? All right, me too. Let's go. Get ready for splashdown. And away we go. 3, 2, 1, splashdown. If you don't try this at home, unless you got your own hydroterror vessel, every vehicle can go into the water, but getting out is a lot trickier unless you're one of us. Up ahead of us on the right, the gray and white birds are simply common seagulls. The long-billed birds are California brown pelicans. When fully grown, they have a wingspan of up to 8 feet. Once we fully exit the boat launch area, we are in the waters of the bay, and we are a boat under Coast Guard rules. Now, if you want to stand up and stretch, you're allowed to do that, but you must remember the first rule of the mariner. At all times, both feet on the deck, on the floor. One hand on the vessel, one hand for yourself. You could use the railing or a seat back. If you're traveling with children aged 13 and under, they're allowed to kneel on the seats, but they must have a parent or an adult guardian with a firm hand on them at all times. At no time is anyone allowed to stand on the seats or stand on laps. Goes for the grown-ups too. Do not lean over the railing. We'll feel weight from boating traffic and it causes us to move around. We don't want anyone going overboard today. Also, I've seen people lose their phones and cameras to the bay when an unpredictable wake hits us. So please exercise caution. We're called a seal tour. We don't have seals in the bay. We have sea lions. A couple of ways you can tell the difference between the two. Seals have tiny little flippers that help with swimming, but they can't walk on them. So when a seal wants to get out of the water onto land, the land has to be flat. The banks of the bay are too steep for seals. Instead, we have sea lions. They have much larger, well-developed flippers, and they can run and jump and climb out of the water and on land. In the water, you can tell the difference between a seal and a sea lion by looking for its ears. External ears, like we have, sea lion. Holes for ears, seal. So keep your eyes on the water for sea lions and also on the channel markers and where we're headed out to. We're cruising now out to Everyman Brothers bait barges. They've been selling live bait, mostly anchovies and sardines, to sports fishermen now for over 50 years. The live bait are held in underwater metal cages, topped with wooden docks. That's why the sea lions like to hang out there, because by hanging out on the wooden docks, the live bait attracts the fish that are in the bay right to the docks, giving them a free 24-hour-a-day buffet to enjoy. I'm going to be hopping off the microphone for about 15 minutes as we settle in on our cruise. In a few minutes, I'll start in the back of the boat. I'm going to work my way forward. When I get to you, if you'd like a group photo of you and your group with your cell phone cameras, I'll be happy to take that. I'll see you all in a little bit. On our port side, that's the left, we've got Navy Seahawk helicopters. They run training exercises and do security patrols and help escort vessels in and out of port.
part sand and 1 part sea, and 1 part shade of banana tree. And the tree said cold and the reggae is hot, and I knew this is the place for me. Get away to where the boat leaves from, it takes away all of your big problems. You can worry, you can drop them in the blue ocean, but you gotta get away to where the boat leads you, Jimmy. Soft tropical lips that are singing. Get away to where the boat leads from. It takes away all of your big problems. You can worry, you can drop them in the blue ocean, but you gotta get away to where the boat leads from. So get away to where the boat leads from. It takes away all of your big problems. You can worry, you can drop them in the blue ocean, but you gotta get away to where. So get away to where the boat leads from. It takes away all of your big problems. You can worry, you can drop them in the blue ocean, but you gotta get away to where the boat leads from.
Okay, coming up on the green channel marker straight ahead of us is one of our first sea lions of the tour today, taking a nap. Sea lions sleep a lot, 12 to 18 hours a day. It's the same as domestic house cats and human teenagers whenever they get a chance. Let them sleep. All right, please have your phones out if you'd like me to take a picture when I get to you. Are you all having fun? addition to being great snoozers and resters, they're incredible swimmers and divers. Sea lions start swimming when they're just a couple of weeks old. When fully grown, they can swim up to 25 miles per hour. They can hold their breath underwater for 15 to 20 minutes. They can dive as deep as 500 feet. They can see well in murky waters because behind their eyes are structures that act like a night vision goggle filter. And when it's time to come up to the surface, they can rocket straight up. Unlike human divers who have to take their time when they're ascending to the surface, not a problem for these sea lions, natural-born snoozers, swimmers, and divers. At birth, a sea lion will weigh between 10 and 20 pounds. When fully grown, the male can reach 1,000 pounds, 100 times its birth weight, and grow up to about 10 feet in length. Males also grow a big lump on the top of their head that's called a sagittal crest. It's made out of bone, whereas females, when fully grown, are less than half the size of the females, between 200 and 350 pounds, and about 4 feet in length. And they have smooth heads. Sea lions reach adolescence around the age of 5 to 6, adulthood around the age of 8, and they have a life expectancy of 20 to 25 years. They're mammals, so the mothers nurse their young. They'll nurse them for up to a year, and then they start to introduce solid foods into their diet. The diet of the sea lion is 100% seafood, mostly fish and squid, and they have to eat a lot of it, a minimum of 10% of their body weight in seafood every single day. So if you're a sea lion that's weighing 1,000 pounds, that's at least 100 pounds of fish that you have to catch and eat every single day. So if they're not sleeping, they're hunting for food, eating it, and then playing. Breeding females only come into heat or season one time per year. If they get pregnant, they give birth 11 months later to a single pup. They don't have litters or multiples. And the offspring stay with their family groups until they reach adulthood and want to start families of their own. It's very different from the seal. Seals, the animal, only get together during breeding season, and then they go their own separate ways. After the mother seal gives birth to her pup, she'll only spend 2 weeks with it before she leaves it to fend for itself. So this creates a very different personality, different social structure, and different kind of animal. We don't have the seals in the bay here, but remember, San Diego has 70 miles of coastline north to Dana Point, and you can almost always find some seals in the area of La Jolla and other places as well, just not in the bay. Did I miss anyone who wanted their picture taken? All right, fantastic. So left is port, right is starboard. Over on our starboard side, coming up at about 1 o'clock towards the shore, is the Navy's refueling pier. This is a gas station for military boats. What's interesting is how quickly the pumps send the fuel on board a vessel. 5,000 gallons per minute, 300,000 gallons per hour. Some of our tankers and replenishment vessels will carry 15 million gallons of fuel on board out to sea to refill ships that are coming into port anytime soon, so they have to be able to do that quickly. I did the math, and that works out to more than 80 gallons per second. Along the water, there's an orange boom line that goes around all ships before they take on fuel. You want to make sure that if any fuel ever spills, that it won't contaminate the water. That containment line fuel floats is contained by that line and can be immediately vacuumed up out of the water. The standard safety protocol, and as far as I know, there's never been a spill or accident in the bay. That's just what you can expect to see, that orange containment line. On the top of Point Loma, behind the refueling pier, is a big yellow metal M. That's the Navy's model antenna testing range. Every time the military builds a new ship, they have to figure out where to place the antenna that are used for radio ship-to-shore communications, and it's different for every vessel. So to do that, they build a brass model of the new ship at 1/48 scale. It's placed on a turntable underneath those arches. It's 22 feet in diameter. The model ship is slowly spun around and pounded with waves of electromagnetic energy. Wherever the sound waves ping, ping the clearest off of the brass model is where the antenna go on the actual ship. This is really old technology. It doesn't even sound like technology to me. Didn't to the Navy either recently, and they ran a computer modeling program to see if there was a more accurate way to figure out where to put them. And it failed. This is the best method, and I'm telling you about it because someday you might be going out to Cabrillo National Monument, the historic lighthouse at Point Loma. If they're testing when you drive by, something really weird happens to everybody in your car. You look around, all of a sudden, everybody's hair is standing straight up and out, off of your head, off of your body. If you didn't know what was going on, you might be a bit concerned. I would be freaked out, but not to worry. It's just very powerful static electricity. And once you clear the area, everyone's hair goes down. It's perfectly safe. I'm always a little disappointed, actually, when I drive by and they're not testing. It has yet to happen to me. I know. I keep trying. On our port side, across the water to North Island, that wooden dock is called Pier Bravo. B is for Bravo, B is for Boom. That's where military ships take on ordnance before they go out to sea. Those are things like artillery, ammunition, firepower, explosives. Whatever's needed for combat and defense gets loaded up over there. All of those different kinds of ordnance are held in top secret locations around North Island. Now keep in mind a few things. San Diego is the 8th largest city in the U.S. Local population 3.4 million people currently. We don't get a lot of rain. We average 11 inches per year, slightly more than Phoenix, Arizona. For comparison, and the national average is 33 inches of rain. What we do get a lot of is lightning. Regular lightning, lightning storms, and dry lightning. If lightning strikes an ordnance hold, it can set off a chain reaction of explosions, causing San Diego to go boom. To make sure that doesn't happen, behind the wooden docks are metal spikes. Those are lightning rods, and they'll ground any lightning in the area that could potentially strike an ordnance hold. On the port side, at about 11 o'clock, where the land ends, is where the Pacific Ocean officially begins. But this is Pacific Ocean water that we're in right now. And up ahead of us is the only way in and out of the bay to the ocean. If you went all 14 miles long through the bay, you'd run into land down in our neighborhood of Imperial Beach. So what this means is that the Navy's North Island Station, South Island Station, Coronado Island, oh, that's a Nighthawk helicopter, by the way. Those are not three separate islands. It's one peninsula. It's one landmass, and it's got the San Diego Bay on this side and the Pacific on the other. I see more sea lions on those channel markers. So now we're closing in on Everything Brothers main barges. The only commercial business in the immediate vicinity. Everything else around us right now is military. What we're going to do is check out, look for sea lions, work our way down the dock, and then we'll turn the boat around. Oh, we've got a big sea lion in the water on our starboard side at 1 o'clock, swimming that way, towards the stern, the back of the boat. They're wild animals. They can go wherever they like. For the most part, they're non-migratory. They stay in the bay. They have enough biodiversity for families, enough food to eat, and the predators that eat them aren't in the bay. I want to make sure I say this before any of them can hear me. I don't like to say it by the docks. Sea lions are eaten by great white sharks and orcas. Now, we're a bit too far south for regular orcas visitations, although we have them in San Diego. They're more to the north, not usually coming down to this part. And there's lots of great white sharks out in the ocean, but not in the bay. There's a couple reasons for that. Great whites have very sensitive hearing. If we were all in the water right now, totally still, and there was a great white 300 feet away, you could hear each of our individual heartbeats. The bay is very noisy with nonstop boating traffic and aircraft overhead, so the sharks don't like how noisy it is. Another reason that the sharks don't come in is that the Navy sends out an electrical pulse at the top of the bay to remove any static electricity that metal vessels pick up as they're moving through the water. When they come back into port, they don't want to fry their electrical systems when they charge up for maintenance. So that electrical pulse acts as a great deterrent. It's not an actual fence or barrier, but because the sharks' noses are so sensitive, particularly to picking up electrical pulses, they don't like it. They feel that on their snouts and they spin around and don't come into the bay. So occasionally we see sea sea lions that have gone out to the ocean, and sometimes they have bite marks on them. But for the most part, they stay in the bay. Very smart. Very smart. So we will check out the sea lions and the seabirds. We're going to then turn around and make sure that the other side of the boat gets a chance to see them up close as well. Cool seabirds out here. The large solid white bird is a great egret. It has black feet. The smaller solid white birds with yellow feet are snowy egrets, also called golden slippers. We have a little baby over here, just a couple of months old, over here on our starboard side. Sea lion's closest relative on land is the otter. So cute. The long-billed birds over here, California brown pelicans. The blackbirds are double-crested cormorants. We always have a wide variety of seabirds out here. The pelican with its long beak has no problem sticking it in between the wooden slats, helping themselves to bait fish whenever they like. Lots of sea lions coming up on our starboard side momentarily. I don't know if you all heard about this, but did you know that the crows have recently gone totally silent? Yeah, it's true, and scientists are looking for the cause. So the sea lions live in family groups. They are called harems that consist of one breeding male, 6 to 8 breeding females, and all of the offspring together. The breeding females will have typically one offspring per year, and they'll stay with their family until they reach adulthood. So these family groups can get pretty large. The breeding season in San Diego runs from mid-spring to midsummer, so it's over now. The sea lions are still the younger ones. The juveniles are still really playful. They play fight. These are really social animals, and they're only territorial or aggressive to one another, really, during breeding season. So you can see multiple family groups in close proximity to one another. And then when the males are no longer strong enough, young enough to protect their families and their harems, they're retired from that duty. And then they form their own social groups with other retired males. So sometimes you might see groups of several huge sea lions hanging out together. They're no longer in competition for females or territory. And they hang out together really companionably. Kind of like the old guys at McDonald's. Their puppies. It's really nice. We've got a sea lion on the white anchorage ball up ahead of us. They're really athletic animals. They like to leap up on these anchorage balls, play queen of the hill, king of the ball, hold position, and when they're all playful and around, they'll try and knock each other off. Up ahead of us, Station 11 at Ballast Point, a home port to 4 Los Angeles-class combat submarines, nuclear-powered attack subs. Really well camouflaged right now. I'll tell you where to look so you can see the top chimney stack of the subs. There's 2 in port right now. If you look on the left, there's the gray RDM-5 portable dry dock. To the right of it, you can see the very top of the black stack of what comes out the top of the submarine. And then, so that's one sub. And then the second sub is towards the shore, and it's in front of that orange and black crane. Its chimney stack is encased in scaffolding. The submarine is underwater, except for the top chimney stack. They carry 147 personnel on board. They go out to sea for 3 months at a time. And they're really hard to spot. Over at about 12 o'clock right now, straight ahead of us, is a gray Navy patrol boat that's got that machine gun mounted on its bow on the front of the boat, making sure that nobody gets too close to super secret submarine base station 11. So we're about halfway through our tour together today. We're going to turn around now and give the other side of the boat a chance to check them out. But remember, you're free to stand up and move around. Please feel free to do so when we're out on the water. Does anyone have any questions right now? All right. Feel free to come on down and ask me questions. No, they're really not decreasing. This is a pretty stable population. Yeah. There's enough biodiversity in different families that they can, when they reach maturity, start families of their own. And they're wild animals. They're free to go wherever they like. And the bay is really large. This is not the only colony of sea lions in the bay. So sometimes you'll find them all the way down towards Imperial Beach. Oh, we got lots of sea lions swimming in the water on our port side here. The families like to sleep in big puppy piles. They'll use their flippers like arms to hold each other close or rest their heads on each other's bodies. Yeah, that's a great question. So we have so many birds out here for the same reason we have these sea lions. The live bait fish attracts the fish in the bay, so that's the diet of the birds as well, seafood.
Yeah, they are. Are there any dogs in it?
The seagull that's shades of brown and gray is a California herring gull. up ahead of us, 12 o'clock, there's a work barge parallel to the bait docks. Gives you an idea of what those bait cages look like. They'll bring them up periodically to scrub off barnacles, make repairs, and when they're all fixed up, they get dropped down underneath these wooden dock toppers and filled up with bait fish again. The large gray bird over here on dock 4 is a great blue heron.
Standing back there. All by itself. Smaller. Skinny.
So right now there's a little one on the just outside of the work barge right now, resting while his parents are off feeding in the immediate vicinity. Another little one on that white anchorage ball. So the parents do spend most of their time with their offspring, but they gotta eat too, and they'll frequently take turns and sometimes have like nurseries where other ones look out, but the breeding season is just wound up here, and so sometimes both the mother and the father will feed at the same time. On our port side, across the bay, back to Point Loma, those little small outbuildings over there, draw your attention to them. That's part of the Navy's Marine Mammal Training Program, Sea Lion Division. For over 50 years, the Navy has run a breeding and training program for sea lions to assist human naval personnel in underwater recoveries. Remember, the sea lions are superior swimmers and divers than even the best human Navy SEAL could ever hope to be. So the sea lions are first trained how to hold a clamp in their mouth. Once they get the hang of the clamp in their mouth, how to attach the clamp to whatever needs to come up to the surface. For example, torpedoes. When the Navy is testing torpedoes and their trajectories all around the world, they use sea lions because you can do these recoveries much more quickly, safely, and covertly, secretly, than if you are using people. Now, doing recoveries is important for a couple of reasons. One, I think we can all agree it's wrong to pollute, right? We shouldn't throw stuff into the ocean and leave it there. And two, these are really expensive military secrets, technologies. You wouldn't want them taken away by the wrong people. So you want to get them up out of the water as quickly as possible. Sea lions are also trained to dive down if a plane goes down, military plane. They can dive down, get into the cockpit, withdraw the communication box to find out what went wrong. And all that work gets started right over there. We're gonna feel a bit awake now. Over on our starboard side, you can see one of our steel tours getting their water time underway. The wheels on the boat go round and around, but the wheels of the boat in the water, wheels on the boat go round and round on the ground, but the wheels on the boat in the water stay in place. They don't move. That causes drag. It slows us down as a boat, so our very top speed is only about 6 miles per hour. And when we're on tour, it's a very leisurely average of 4 to 5 miles per hour. Straight ahead of us at 12 o'clock is a unique vessel directly to the left of the far right wooden dock. It's the gray ship, primer and design, 3 parts. You can see on the bottom there. That's the Sea Hunter. It's the world's first AI-operated autonomous drone vessel, developed by DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, to identify things in the waters that don't belong all around the world. And by autonomous, what do I mean? No one's on board when they're working. The only time humans come on board is to bring them in and out of port. But when they're out on the open waters of the world, no one's on board. On a full tank of diesel fuel, they work for 90 days at a time, 24 hours a day. If they come across something in the water that shouldn't be there, like a submarine or an explosive, they can immediately lock onto its coordinates, relay them instantaneously to base, and base in real time can notify local military and law enforcement exactly where to go to investigate what could be a potentially dangerous situation. In the past, battleships did this kind of intelligence gathering, but battleships have 3 strikes against them for that. 1, they're not stealthy. You see a battleship coming from far away, and there's no element of surprise, so that's no good. 2, they're really expensive to operate, $1 million a day or more. The Sea Hunter and her twin sister, the Seahawk, cost about $15,000 a day. And 3, battleships carry lots of human personnel on board. The Sea Hunter and the Seahawk have no personnel on board. And these are drones, so they're capable of being weaponized, which ultimately means that the Navy has the potential for a new class of battleships that can engage in combat at sea with no one on them. Usually they're not in port. They're home ported in San Diego, but usually all of the vessels that are home ported are out in service somewhere else around the world. So I'm really excited to be able to point out to you the Sea Hunter. When we get on the other side of that wooden dock, she'll practically disappear from view. That low design allows them to get into extremely shallow waters. It also helps to evade detection from sonar and radar. port side, at the left, is part 2 of the Navy's Marine Mammal Training Program. This is the Atlantic Bottlenose Dolphin Training Division. For over 50 years, the Navy has run a breeding and training program for Atlantic bottlenose dolphins because they have incredibly sensitive hearing. It's called echolocation, and it's like sonar. So the Navy trains the dolphins to do security patrols underwater. Similar to how a canine unit of dogs patrol on land, the dolphins are trained to patrol underwater. This is the real world, not SeaWorld. Of course, we can never guarantee a dolphin sighting, but if you keep your eyes along the water inside these dolphin classrooms and dormitories, you might catch some spume coming up. Oh, Osprey! Take a look at that. Osprey aircraft on the right. Those are pretty cool. Military-only hybrid helicopters and airplanes. So, the dolphins learn about 200 sign language signals for communication from their trainer, and it takes about 6 years for the dolphins to get fully trained. Keep your eyes peeled, you might see dorsal fin, tail, or spume coming out of a blowhole. And they typically train early in the morning in the waters of the bay, so if you see one of these little gray boats, oh, dolphin up! Dolphin up, 9 o'clock, keep your eyes peeled. We don't normally see dolphins, so it's always a real special treat. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, this is a military operation. Their schedule isn't published for us, and so it's always just a gift to see them. But sometimes you'll see them out in the water around the boats.